Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines 2 playing our city of Walden. And in the last part, we built out both Morgan's Gate and Bidley. I still have this empty kind of plot here. I haven't figured out what's going to go there yet. I guess technically this is empty as well. So they're almost done. They're nearly done. Today, we're going to build out Citizens Coast. It's all about Citizens Coast today. We got to get this area built out because then we can fill out one more area here and finally connect the two. There's a lot we got to do today. So I think we just jump right in. First things first, we are in the need for some commercial. If I look at our population, our unemployment has gone up to 7.4. We haven't built a ton of commercial recently. So that's, really what the main cause of all this is. I think what I want to do is I want to try to use this area here. We've got these businesses and offices along this route here. I would love to send a pathway along the entire rear of that zoning. And then we're going to do the same thing here where we send a pathway along the entire rear of this zoning. And then I'm going to remove all the trees from the middle. I even think I might make some adjustments to these tree lines here. Let's get rid of the trees that are there. I want to add the trees to the rest of it though. In terms of zoning, wow, we've got beautiful zoning tiles on this side. We love to see it. I do think I want to keep this pretty low density. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to fill all of this with commercial. Then I'm going to come back in. That was the northeast. I'm going to come back in with some regular schmegular commercial. Maybe we'll fill these two sides like that. Maybe I'll fill this side here. And maybe we'll do another lick right here. Then I'm going to do low density offices. We'll do a sliver here. We'll do a block right here in the middle. And I'll do another block maybe right here on this side like this. And then we're going to let them zone in. Is it all going to be able to zone in? Okay, great. I didn't totally mess anything up too severely. But now I've got this center block. I could probably come in and do a lot more detailing in all this, and maybe I'll just do that quickly. All right, I just added a ton of grass. I put mowed grass along the backs of the businesses with the center here just being open. And I think I might just come in and honestly just do a line of trees. Let's set these to be, 20 apart. And we're just going to go right down the middle, just like so, with some trees in a straight line. It's nothing crazy, but it adds a little extra something to this spot and maybe makes it feel a little bit nicer as you're walking around to the different stores. Yes, okay, I can get into that. I think right next door to this, we definitely need a parking lot. Let's just slap down a nice parking lot. This is my preferred, but I think I do want something a little bit larger. I want something that goes back, but then that feels way too large. Let's just do this one. I think that's probably fine. It connects up into here like it's all one large complex. I can get into that. And then in the sake of just continuing some of these pathways and all this walkability we've got going on, just kind of like last episode, I'm going to go in and just add some paths. This could probably be upgraded to be biking related, but then there's your cross to get up and over into Hamilton. Okay, I'll take that. So now we're getting our businesses built in here, a little more of a commercial strip. It's unlikely that type of commercial is going to, I was going to say it's unlikely it's going to do make a big impact on our unemployment, but that's not true because now we're at 6.8. So it is helping a lot. I think what needs to happen here in Citizens Coast is I need to figure out what is it going to look like? And where is going to be our neighborhoods and where's going to be our main roads. Maybe I start there and then that kind of answers some of these questions for us. This section here is the only area of this avenue that has a really straight section other than right over here. And so what I want to do with Citizens Coast is I want to make sure that we've got room for a little town along both sides. If I was to place this here, that is not perfectly lined up. I basically want to take this whole section. I guess I can do it this way. We can put a road behind it. It'll give me 6 lanes there. I can go right here. This will give me 6 lanes here, or 6 cells of zoning. And that can be kind of the initial grid pattern there. All of this is pretty flat. I'm going to have a larger section behind it that goes all 12 because then this section will be residential. This section could be commercial. So we'll kind of build that out. So we've got both residential and commercial here. For this section, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to do a continuous. And we're going to bring the road down this way and connect up and in. I want that to be a little bit straighter though. If I was to send this out straight to here and then just curve this from here to here, that looks pretty decent. I can get into that. Okay, great, great. Back off of here, I almost want to take this road and we're going to just leave it disconnected from the rest of the main road. And like there could be a little bit of commercial or residential back here. Something could go here. Something large could even go here. Or we could do something large over here because you've got this entrance. I don't know, actually. I kind of feel like some kind of service building needs to go off of this, but for now, I'm going to place 2 little cul-de-sacs, and we're just going to leave that alone like that. All right, we have this area. I want to divide our commercial from a residential. I'm going to do that with a pathway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to eat into... Well, actually, right here will be smaller houses, so we'll eat into the residential zoning side there. And then I got to figure out how these kind of marry with these guys. I could see this road connecting into here. So what if I was to grab this? We go into the continuous, and we just kind of give this a little bit of a curve here, and then curve it up and in. Right? Gives us another weird block. Lots of weirdly shaped blocks to work with there. I don't exactly know how I'm going to make all that work, but we're going to figure it out. This could be some good, business or services. And actually, I say that, let's just get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And let's instead do this. We're going to bring this out to here. Send it over at the 90 and send it back down and in. We'll go right from here. Wow. Could that have been any worse? Just give that a little extra bit, but then we call it a day. I do also think there needs to be some type of crosswalk or some like cross street here. I could get into, instead of it being a regular road, it could be a pedestrian road. Pedestrian street. Right from here, cuts right on through. Because this is going to be like one of the main 2 towns we've got here in Citizens Coast. There's going to be like a commercial area here, and then there's going to be mainly homes and housing throughout the rest. We could consider bringing this down here, but I honestly think Citizens Coast, you've got a public beach over here. This is going to be very much a private beach. This is where some rich people live. So you're not going to be able to drive your car all the way down here and enjoy it. Let's do an alleyway. Let's basically turn everything off and let's do continuous. I am going to also get rid of this old mill ruin. I don't think we need it. I'm going to have a road that comes through here and connects off of here. Now, we don't have a lot of topography to work with, and so I'm kind of having to make up interest as we go, which is not a bad thing. It's just kind of hard when you don't have landmarks or things to work alongside you. This could come right off of here and just connect up and in. So like there's like a little coastal road there. This will curve like this. And then right here is where the sand begins. So I think that's going to go to there. We'll figure out how that connects up and in. Let me just get a look of it. Okay, like that. This is kind of screaming for there to be like another way through. So I think we're going to just do that. I think that just makes a lot of sense. We're going to obviously need some like roundabouts, some cul-de-sacs. We are going to need access to what will be like a little marina space. And I kind of think like this area here could be a good place to do that marina. You're in a bay, right? So like the water, there's not going to be a ton of concern about water and storms and all of that. Or right here could be a good spot, but I like that this is kind of somewhat tucked in. So if we built a little marina here, the road could come off of here. Let's do a road just like this. We're going to connect right from here and go straight on in. It's going to be a regular schmegular road. And this road can slowly work its way over to connect kind of up into here. Just like so. And this can be Marina. Where does this go to? It wraps all the way around. Oh my gosh, that's actually great. This is going to be Marina Way. Because we are going to build a marina kind of off of this section somehow. I don't know how yet. We gotta figure that out today. Then I think I want to have a few areas where like you're going to have some pull-off roads. So like there would be a road that kind of comes off this way. Maybe it curves, right here. And there'd be a little roundabout there, be a little roundabout here. We don't really have any pull-off roads here. But there are some places where like the road structure could go back a little bit. Like this could go back to here. Oh, what if we do a little curve? Hold on. That's actually kind of fun. I wasn't thinking of that, but I don't mind it. There could be a road that comes off of here. And we maybe curve this direction. We get a connection back up into this. Right? So that becomes like a pretty busy intersection. I don't think I'm able to put a roundabout on it. I wish I could. I guess I could get rid of this. I did not mean to pause that. We put a roundabout back. And then we just kind of connect up in here somehow like that. It's strange. But there's just going to be a few houses over here. So that's okay. You've got Marina Road here. It comes out to here. That's absolutely going to need a nice little roundabout on the end. I think one with like a tree in it or two. Something nice. That's got, kind of like a water vibe to it. Right? And then you've got we'll figure out what the marina looks like. There could be a business or two over there. Okay. The rest of these are just going to be little tiny cul-de-sacs that come off the end there. And by that I mean there's 1, 2. There's 2 cul-de-sacs to build. Great work. Awesome. We love that. All right. Right here, there will be another road that comes out here with a little, well, not that, a little cul-de-sac. Yep. There can be 2 houses there. Won't really be one there on the edge. I was thinking this was going to have some more business like the town here, but now I'm wondering if most of this area is just going to be residential in like really wavy and weird ways. You've got this entrance into the town. We've got this pedestrian street. I kind of want to take the pedestrian street. And so all these rich people can kind of walk off of their little pedestrian street over into the town that's inside of Citizens Coast. I don't really know exactly how I want to do this. I think I'm going to turn off the guidelines because I think that's causing me a little bit of grief. And maybe what happens here is instead of that being this like weird curve, let's do another one of these little roundabouts, right? This particular guy can connect up and in here to the upper portion, but then we'll have one that comes out this way and connects over like this. It's got a slight little curve to it, nothing crazy. That way it's not fully a cul-de-sac in there. In here we could have another road, maybe come out straight a little bit and then curve. And then there could be maybe one more road that comes off this way. All of these would get little cul-de-sacs. Now we've got another whole area for some development. And then we really just need to do the same thing right in here and in here. So I think we just knock that out. So if we look at our zonable land, you can kind of get a good sense of what the road layout looks here. My thinking is that this area here, we're going to have a lot of houses along the coast, along the edge. It's going to look very pretty, very nice. They're going to be very far apart, lots of trees, lots of density just to protect the homes. You get over here, there's still going to be some distance between the houses, but there's going to be a bit more houses over here. This is going to get a little bit less fancy than what we have over on this side. I do wonder if it maybe makes sense for me to start by erasing the trees, which I think I might do. We just get rid of what's already here, and then I can come back and make it look, really nice and pretty. But I think we start by getting rid of what's already here, so we've got a clean slate to work with. And then we can make this coastline look great. All right, I've gone ahead and erased all the trees. I did a little bit of extra road work here, and then I placed down, let me get rid of all these symbols. I placed down a bunch of houses. These are all level 5s, which I'm fine with placing level 5s. I don't feel any kind of way about that. That I think would look good in this area. These are all from the, I believe, UK semi-detached housing. I tried to avoid the semi-detached as much as I could. These are all detached. There's a few semi-detached that show up that I thought looked particularly nice, but for the most part, actually that might be the only semi-detached. And then over here, these are all EU or NA, low density, typically waterfront, but just level 5 houses that are large, take up a big block. It makes sense for them to have, the fence. There's a lot of small assets in this game that have fences, which I don't understand. But these, I think, are the kind of houses that are going to sprinkle out through this area and populate this space. I also upgraded this segment of road into a 2-lane road so we can build our marina probably inside of here. But before we do that, let's just place down a bunch of these houses. Move them around, get this area looking nice, and then we can think about what to do with our marina. Are these bushes? Yeah, they're like equally spaced apart. I was like, what are those 2 black dots over there? Okay, so I'm going to place a bunch of buildings down, and then we're going to come back and think about how we build out the marina. Okay, I've gone through and I've placed no more than 7 of each type of house. And so in some areas, we've got a little bit more density. It's a little bit closer together. I mean, these houses are still massive, like absolutely. 2 families live here. One family lives here and 2 people live in this house. Like, they're all going to be poor just because of the way the game mechanics work. In real life, this would be a very wealthy area to live in. But at the moment, Citizens Coast is quite poor, which is unfortunate. They don't have any services yet. I want to take a break from putting down and plopping houses. And instead, I do want to work a little bit on this marina. I'm going to do this. I'm going to save the game. We're going to save this as Walden. Get it saved. I think I want to dredge this entire area. So here's what's going to happen. First things first, along Embershade Street and on Brook Lane, I'm going to add in a key wall. If I have to get rid of the roundabout to do this, I will. We're going to get rid of that roundabout there piece as well. This here, I guess this is really Marina Way. Whatever happens to the road here that became Marina Way? Marina Way. Where do you go? Hold on. Marina Way? Marina Way now just goes here, comes down this way, cuts through all this, and does this loop around. We're just going to call this Citizens Way, because we're along Citizens Coast. How about that? I'm thinking the best way to do this, let's reduce our brush size. Let's go to level terrain. Yeah, like 20, maybe 30. I'm going to grab, I think, this height here. Is that too deep? I don't think so. We're going to just dredge this whole thing. Take this, send it up to here. Now, I'm going to have to do a little bit of extra work along the side with the alleyway. It just doesn't work that way with alleys. Like they're not as forgiving. You know what? All this is going to have turn on anarchy. Of course you're in water. You're a key wall. That's literally how key walls work. So let's dredge all this to here. We'll even dredge a little bit over into this area. Give it a nice little curve spot there. We'll bring this back to this avenue, or excuse me, this alleyway. The challenge with alleyways is they're so thin, like getting the water or the ground, I guess, low enough on this side without crossing over into this side is very challenging. Like, I really do want to come in here and just fix all this. But now I feel like I need to repaint some of my textures because now things look weird. And like you've got like a cliff face inside of here. That should never happen. Okay. And then I think if I just come in here and I smooth this out, but I'm going to use the slope tool, start up here, come down to here, and just give this like a nice little slope. Start here, come down to here, give this a little slope, and then follow that with a little bit of smoothing, especially along like kind of the peaks, so there's no hard edge, because in nature you don't often have hard edges like that. Okay, actually that works pretty well. This all means I have to do a little bit of extra work here with our surface paints. I'm going to reduce this down to 20. And I'm going to just repaint this. It's requiring that I do a little bit of extra work just because I've changed the actual typography here. But I think all the way up here to Anchor Lane, like this is beach. The road kind of caps where the beach goes, but for the most part, this is all going to be beach. There's not going to be some transition into something else. I'm starting to question how realistic these properties are with the grass texture below. If I came in and deleted nothing but surfaces, could I get rid of the grassy surfaces below them? And would that change my opinion of these homes? It does. It changes them for the worst. But at the same time, if you just got rid of this building entirely, right? Like that wasn't there, nor was this. It's workable. It is workable. All right, let me fix the paint on this side. There we go. That will work just fine. That's kind of perfect. I'm almost tempted to say erase all of this surface here. Like we dredged this out so there wouldn't be sand here anyway because we're the ones who came in and dredged it. No? Like that makes sense to me. Erase all the sand that's in here. Okay. It's not perfect, but my imagining here is that we actually wouldn't have sand back this way because we decided to dredge this for a marina. Now that we've dredged it, the immediate grass around this area actually got more lush because it had more access to water. And I think that all around like looks pretty decent. I haven't done trees yet. We're going to get there. Don't you worry about that. Now, with all of these new homes, I do need to figure out how like the marina area gets built. I am thinking I'm just going to use the, where are they? Under the piers, we have these narrow concrete leisure piers with metal pillars. I'm thinking what I want to do is I want to use the medium version of this. Can I just come off of here? In water. It's a pier. How like far up does that have to go down? Oh, it actually, you know what? It's not too terrible. Okay. So with that in place, we have this little piece coming out here. I think what's going to happen is we're going to have two different piers here. We're going to have one that comes from here straight on down. I'm going to turn everything off for this, and I'm going to build it based on where I want it in the water. If I reduce the intensity of this, can I bring this down? No. Because it's on top of the water, like I'm kind of stuck with what I'm stuck with. The only downside is it looks like the marina's closed. If I came back in here and I used move it and I brought these down to this height, would that make it look open? No. Marina's still closed. Okay, well, you know what? We're going to say the marina's closed because it's the off season. And so therefore, no one is able to access the marina. I'm going to line this up so it's kind of straight there. You still have more than enough access for boats. And then we're going to use the small version. I would want to have one here. And I guess it would probably be beneficial for me to actually use boats to kind of set where these go. The idea being you don't park on the other side. Now, I'm seeing these yachts and I'm realizing, wow, these are very, very small marinas. But that's okay. Sometimes that's what you got to do. We could have, like, this would need to be able to back out double its width. Right? So if that's double its width, the next marina piece would honestly be just kind of right here on the end. If I was to do this and go just like so, you'd have more than enough room to get in and out there. And then there could be one right here along this edge. Just like so. You have more than enough room to kind of curve here. What if this particular segment was set up ever so differently though, and it was like on an angle instead, right? Like that. Because then what we can do, get rid of this, go back into here and grab our yachts. We have a yacht there. We have another yacht here. One yacht here, here, and here. And if I rotate them around, I mean, I guess how do you get out? You don't. You're going to have to wait until everybody else moves for you. But is that how? Let me go look at my reference photo. No, see, my reference photo, there's like enough room for you to turn around. And so this is maybe a little small. And maybe what needs to happen is you get rid of this entirely. And instead, we expand this out. You enter through here and you come around. I think this could work maybe a little bit better. If I was to have this, you know, here, there's our different boats. Then I could do this right here. There's clearly a way to exit here. I can have an additional set of boats here along this side. You can all enter through here. Okay, this could work. This could work. If I have some yachts along this side, got some yachts along here. We'll do a few yachts here as well, maybe 3 together. I'll rotate this around and we'll do 2 yachts here. If we were to build out a full-on marina here, this could look really nice. Okay, I went through and I just changed some of the colors that were on some of these boats, and I think that's a pretty strong start. I do also remember we have that one clock option here, this guy that can go in the center of some of these roundabouts. Like that could look really neat here for the marina, right? That looks pretty decent. Now, this all needs a ton of trees, a ton of rocks. We got to do a little bit more work in terms of decorating it, but I think first we need to add a few businesses to this area to make this actually work. I know we have the, what is it called? Not the supermarket. There's the Fleur. We've got the Lobster Tail. Yes, something like this. Like these kind of Canopy Cafe, Lobster Tail, Riverside Grill. I think these types of buildings are going to work really well right here. If we did the Riverside Grill here, and I might need to just do a little bit of move it so that all these paths are connecting up the way we want them to, just like so. Then we could even put next to it this Lobster Tail and just have like a few of these little restaurants in this area. That doesn't look too bad. We can have maybe one more right here. What's another option we've got? Canopy Cafe, a little bit large. Oh, here we go. Actually, we can do this Mermaids building. I'm almost tempted to place 1 or 2 on my own. If we go into here and we do, what was the name of that new style they gave us? It was a commercial building, Southwest, Northeast Japan. These guys, low density waterfront businesses. All right, let's see what options we have. There's no guarantee any of these are going to actually be good, but if we do waterfront, let's go to level 5. Like we're already kind of committed to, we're doing a level 5 kind of build over here. That's fine. There are some smaller 2x3s. Oh, what did I just click on? Vehicles. I don't want those. Here we go. We do have some buildings like this. Like this could work here. Could it fit in between? No, but it could fit right here on this edge. A little bit close to this guy's house here. Not ideal for them, but if I scoot this over, that's kind of perfect. Right on the corner, you're driving down, you can see the edge of that building. I like that a lot. And let's do at least a few along this back road here. Maybe when we get a little bit closer over to these buildings, it quiets down a little bit. I don't actually like that one at all, so let's get rid of that. I want just a handful that kind of fit this spot well. If I turn off snap to road, we might be able to get a little bit more control here. In the middle could easily go some palm trees, make that look a little bit nicer. What is this guy here? Oh, actually, no. Whoa, that's exactly what I want. Get rid of this. I think I at some point had lost that I was doing a level 5 building search. This right here is exactly what we're looking for. We've got the canopies around it. You imagine palm trees in the middle. Once we go through and do all that, that's going to be great. Let's add a few more buildings, but nothing too crazy. Like that's getting a little bit big. I don't know if I want it to be that large. Where's the entrance to this? Here. If I was to anarchy this, and we anarchied it right here, you would walk up and walk in just like so. You would never know that these buildings were overlapping one another. And if I was to grab this and fill this whole area up to here, it looks like all of this is intentional. Now, this is getting a little bit too like custom. I would not do this throughout the rest of the build, but at least here, like why not? This will actually be separate from that building. Put that right here. Something like this would fit very nicely, especially if we were to match these two ends of the buildings up. Make it look like it's one large building kind of all along the edge there. And if I just get one more, I think that closes out this area pretty well. If I was to place this here, technically that would fit. And you know what? If we were to make both of these buildings the same color, that might make this feel a bit more like it's one large building versus two small buildings slapped together. If I rotate this a bit more, we can probably line this up perfectly. Just like that. It's a little bit close to this house, but if I also rotate the house so it's kind of matching the direction of those buildings, and we leverage that corner, it's now far enough away that once you put some trees in there, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. Okay, so that's our little commercial area around this marina strip. Right here, I think I want this to be pretty open. I don't necessarily want to have too much going on here. If I was to grab one or two of these different canopies or these pavilions, I'd want them to have some kind of shape to them, kind of matching the water that we got going on here. Like this could be a great little shape here. The only downside to this is if you live in these houses and you look out your back window, all you see is a massive pavilion. That's not going to work. I need them to be smaller than that. This could work. Actually, that could work pretty well. It's not too tall. It's just enough. And if I'm able to sneak a path through the center here, this is going to make a lot more sense. Let's turn everything off and let's do continuous. We're going to start right here. I want to get this perfectly lined up. If we can line the center up, the rest of this is all going to make way more sense. And I will even bring one right through the middle and connect that up and in. Once we put a few palm trees in here, we're going to be able to disguise that this is so close to some of those residential houses. But now we've got kind of a walking area. We've got a string of businesses here. Then it fades into the residential area. We have the marina. We don't have any decent parking. And I do think, unfortunately, that's going to be a problem. Like this area would need some type of parking. If I upgraded this section to have parking. What would that look like? Right against the water? We could do that. It turns that into a one-way, which is maybe less than ideal, but then you get into this two-way road. So you can come down here. How do you get into the Marina Way? You get into Marina Way this way. So if we're going to do the one-way actually has to go this way. Is there not a one-way where the parking is along this side, the water's edge? If not, I'm half tempted just to say upgrade this into like a regular road with parking. It's going to cannibalize some of these paths, but I could easily rebuild these and like make all this make sense. It also kind of gives us an opportunity to plug into these crosswalks. So it's auto place. Like right here, we have a crosswalk. What if that just also connected into this path? And maybe that would help increase usage. Okay, we now have parking in the marina area. That's pretty good. I do think we're going to get rid of this particular crosswalk. You don't need it. And I mean, yeah, for the people living here, it's not a great spot to live, but that's not all the houses can be great. We had to build out the marina area, so we needed this. I could see about doing some type of small hotel here. I don't actually know if we have any that would fit in this area. We do have the 3-star country hotels. Actually, it's exactly what we need in this area. What if we were to get rid of both of these houses and instead overlapping item, turn on anarchy, get rid of both of these houses with anarchy on because it's not going to work otherwise. I think we place the 3-star country hotel right here, right up along this marina edge here. That's great. I do think there would be dedicated parking for the marina, or excuse me, for the marina hotel. If I was to grab this alleyway, it does need to be big because we have businesses here though. So like it could work kind of along this whole back edge here. If I was to go from here, technically this is a part of this building. So the road would go here. We're onto something here though. Hold on. This can come straight. Curve this from here into here. And then right here needs to somehow go a very small parking lot. But this parking lot is for this area. I mean, there's the parking lot, right? That's exactly the parking lot we want. If I was turn all of these snap twos off, if I moved this into here, could I just add a small, tiny roundabout to this? Kind of give you a little bit of a turnaround there. All this is fenced off. There's nothing else you need to worry about there. All right. I need to add some surfaces here. Let me add some trees and detail this slightly. I think this is going to look much better once it's had just a tiny bit of detailing. Okay, here we go. I think it looks pretty nice. So we've got some rocks along all of the front here of the marina. I did place some boats as if they were out here, you know, doing their thing and they were fishing or sailing. I mean, they're just props. They're never going to move, but that's okay. And then back here, we've got our little kind of commercial strip and commercial area for the marina town. Like this is the little marina harbor area that you come and visit when you come to Citizens Bay. This is what they're all about. I did also go ahead and place a ton of trees. Some of these like older neighborhoods, you know, you've got a ton of trees. They're all old growth and they're just filling out the area really nicely. And I think I want to do that here. The last thing I got to work on, and I don't really have a plan for it, so we might just leave it like this for now, is this park. It's kind of basic. But also, I'm known for doing too many trees and too much stuff, so maybe the basic park, like maybe that actually works for it to be so basic. Now, obviously, let me get out of that view. Obviously, there's a ton of stuff over here that we have not zoned out today, and that is going to happen in the next part. I want to create like an upscale shopping area. I want to take this idea that like this is like a place where some rich people finally decide to settle down right outside of both of the cities. They're right outside of this city here, right outside of this city here, and they took all their money and they live in this suburb just outside of the hustle and bustle of the downtown. But I want to extend that into this area. They got a little Target over here and just make this a little bit more bougie. I think we'll do that next week. For now, this is the little marina town we've got inside of Citizens Coast. And I have to say, I'm a huge fan. I think this looks phenomenal. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think, if this looks pretty good to you or not. Oh, you know what? I could actually extend these. I only did some of these palm trees over here. I should probably place some all along here as well. It looks like I just kind of gave up. So that I got to fix. We are finally going into summertime, which is very exciting. And then I'm going to come over here next week. We'll work on this. This whole area, I think, still needs services. They do have access to this hospital or this clinic right here, which is great. They also have access to the EE hospital all the way over here, which really isn't that bad. You just get on Foggy Street, you drive it straight down, and you switch over onto Falcon Ridge, and you're at the EE hospital. And then there's also the cemetery, which is right here, which is also super close. There's way more we could do here. They need schools, they need police, they need fire. So right now, although it's technically a bougie neighborhood, they've got no services. None whatsoever. So we're going to work on that in the next part. But I think it's looking pretty good. And it is nice to see all of the density below, and then you move up into the more spread out houses, only for us to then revisit all this density. Like, we went from a grid to this nice sprawling suburbs, and then we're going to go back into a grid. I don't hate it, though. I don't hate it. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end this part here. A quick shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the link in the description below to unlock custom emojis, loyalty badges, early access to videos, save game files, members-only content, merchandise discounts, and more. And until next time, leave your questions, comments, and feedback down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Lorelai, follow your dad out. I can't have your tippy taps. I can't edit them out.